A true masculine authority doesn't just happen. It's built from within, on a foundation of discipline and power that few ever tap into. What if the most powerful state a man can achieve isn't from external validation, but from a source he already possesses? The ultimate masculine state is a force of focused energy, an unwavering presence that commands respect effortlessly. It's the quiet confidence that fills a room, the sharp clarity of thought, and the unshakable drive that separates a great man from a good one. This isn't about brute force, but about a refined, internal power. The secret to this authority is not found in a gym or a bank account, but in a practice so ancient it's almost forgotten. It is the conscious conservation of one's most vital energy, a process that awakens the dormant capabilities of the mind and body. This is where real greatness begins. Section 1: Flow state and focused action. A true masculine authority doesn't just happen. It's built from within, on a foundation of discipline and power that few ever tap into. What if the most powerful state a man can achieve isn't from external validation, but from a source he already possesses? The ultimate masculine state is a force of focused energy and unwavering presence that commands respect effortlessly. It's the quiet confidence that fills a room, the sharp clarity of thought, and the unshakable drive that separates a great man from a good one. This isn't about brute force, but about a refined, internal power. The secret to this authority is not found in a gym or a bank account, but in a practice so ancient it's almost forgotten. It is the conscious conservation of one's most vital energy, a process that awakens the dormant capabilities of the mind and body. This is where real greatness begins. This practice of retention doesn't just conserve energy, it triggers a cascade of internal faculties that are directly responsible for greatness. By training the mind to exercise self-control over its most primal impulses, a man sharpens his focus and enhances his cognitive abilities. This deliberate act of willpower redirects biological resources away from immediate gratification and toward higher order thinking and creativity. It strengthens the mind's ability to resist distraction and maintain concentration on complex tasks. This mental discipline is the engine of ambition, allowing a man to visualize his goals with a clarity that others lack. It's the difference between merely wanting success and creating it with a relentless, laser-like precision that makes the impossible feel inevitable. There is a state that separates the great from the good, a powerful, almost mystical focus where time seems to slow down and every action is perfect. It's the feeling an artist gets when their hand moves on its own, or a leader feels when their words effortlessly guide a crowd. This state isn't a myth, it has a name: flow. Most people stumble into it by accident, catching a fleeting glimpse of its power before it vanishes. They chase it through external distractions, thinking a new technique or a different environment will bring it back. But what if the key to unlocking this extraordinary focus isn't found outside yourself, but within? The deepest form of discipline isn't about what you add to your life, but what you choose to withhold. The true secret to accessing this ultimate mental state lies in a quiet, internal mastery. Think of the human brain as a battlefield of competing desires. On one side are the quick, easy rewards, the instant gratification that offers a brief, intense spike of pleasure. These urges are driven by a simple, ancient part of the brain. On the other side is your prefrontal cortex, the sophisticated commander-in-chief responsible for planning and long-term goals. The constant battle between these two forces drains your mental energy. When you give in to every immediate impulse, you're training your brain to be weak. But when you choose self-control over instant pleasure, you are doing more than just resisting, you're actively rewiring your brain. This deliberate act of choice shifts the balance of power, strengthening the very part of your mind that allows for strategic thought and unshakable resolve. This is where the ancient wisdom of retention comes into play. It's not just about a physical act, it's a powerful metaphor for psychological and biological control. By consciously choosing to conserve your most vital energy, you are performing a profound act of mental discipline. This sends a signal to your brain that you are in command, not your impulses. Over time, this practice builds an incredible capacity for sustained focus. It teaches your mind to seek rewards not in fleeting moments of pleasure, but in the long, arduous process of building something great. This commitment to delayed gratification recalibrates your entire system, making you less susceptible to distractions and more aligned with your highest ambitions. Section 2. Biomechanics of composure. An imposing figure doesn't have to be the loudest or most aggressive man in the room. In fact, true authority is rarely found in a state of high tension or frantic energy. Instead, it's conveyed through a powerful stillness, a calm that suggests complete control, not just of a situation but of oneself. This composure isn't a mask, it's a profound physiological state, built from the inside out. History is filled with examples of leaders who, in moments of extreme crisis, remained cool and calculated, a quality that inspired absolute faith in those around them. This isn't a matter of simple personality. It has a real biological basis, a silent dialogue between the mind and body that determines whether a man will be swayed by panic or stand as a pillar of strength. The root of this composure lies in a tiny but mighty part of our endocrine system, the adrenal glands. These glands are responsible for producing cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. When we are constantly in a state of chronic arousal, driven by impulsivity, instant gratification, or a lack of self-control, these glands are in overdrive. This persistent state of fight or flight keeps cortisol levels high, a chemical constant that slowly erodes a man's capacity for clear thought. This isn't just a feeling, it's a biological fact. Elevated cortisol can flood the system, impairing the very parts of the brain needed for good judgment and emotional regulation. It's like trying to pilot a ship through a storm with a crew that's lost its nerve. This is where the ancient practice of self-regulation, or retention, becomes a powerful tool. It's a method for intentionally lowering your body's baseline stress level. By consciously choosing to manage your impulses and conserve your energy, you are sending a powerful signal to your adrenal glands to stand down. You are telling your body that it is not in a constant state of emergency. This deliberate practice allows the nervous system to relax and recalibrate, bringing cortisol levels back into a healthy range. It's a form of internal biofeedback, where a mental choice directly influences a physical state, creating a virtuous cycle of calm and control. Section 3. Direction of life force. A man's power isn't just measured by his actions, but by the energy that fuels them. Throughout history, many cultures have whispered about a vital life force, a finite well of energy within each person that determines their potential. Most people spend this energy without a second thought, pouring it into fleeting distractions and temporary pleasures. They wonder why they feel drained, why their ambitions stall, and why they can't seem to break through to a higher level of performance. The greatest men, however, seem to operate with an endless reserve of drive and clarity. It is as if they have discovered a secret for harnessing a potent, internal resource that others are completely unaware of, allowing them to achieve a state of consistent purpose and power. From a biological perspective, our bodies are masters of homeostasis, a self-regulating process that constantly balances limited resources. Every action, from thinking to digesting, requires energy. The reproductive process, often overlooked in this equation, is a significant biological expenditure. It demands a considerable amount of the body's precious energetic output, not just for gamete production, but for the complex hormonal cycles that accompany it. The practice of retention can be interpreted as a conscious and powerful decision to conserve this specific output. This is not about denial, but about a strategic redirection of resources. By consciously choosing to hold back this energy, a man can reclaim a significant portion of his body's resources, making them available for a new, more profound purpose. This disciplined act of conservation becomes the ultimate power move, A man who has learned to master the direction of his own energy can now channel that redirected life force into his most important pursuits. He is able to pour that vitality into creative work, building a business from the ground up, or dedicating himself to his intellectual development with an intensity others can't match. This isn't a mystical or magical process, it is a fundamental principle of energy management in biology, where the purposeful allocation of limited resources determines survival and success. The man who masters this appears more driven, powerful, and magnetic because he is, in fact, operating with a fuller tank of purpose, a silent reserve of internal power that fuels his every ambition.